Hello everyone, this is Sid here, and I've come back with Living Sober by Siddharth Mishra. This is a particular book that is from AA. Some methods of AA members have used for not drinking. Some methods of AA members that are being used for not drinking. That is something that we're going to go for. And today's topic is, just one second, that is changing old routines. Because in the previous video, if you've seen it, then you would understand that what I'm talking about. We are obsessive people, alcoholics or addicts. We are obsessed about our routines. We are obsessed about a particular time when we have our addictions, and that then it becomes a self-serving thing in which we are using it all the time. But in the beginning of it, the start phase of it, it is always about a routine and when we have it, or with whom we have it, or with what we have it. That is addiction for us. So, changing the routines is a major and one of the first steps to be used to stay away from our addictive behavior. Uh, Whatever it takes, like for a person in India who has a lot of tobacco, would be that if he overeats, then he has to have you know, a little bit of tobacco to sort of push it down. So generally, we tell the people not to eat so much, reduce the eating to stop that addictive or associated behavior. Now, changing old routines is a very important part of our de-addiction of obsessive behavior. Let's go ahead and change the screen in which we are going to talk about changing old routines. I hope you like this video and the way that I'm going to talk about it. Whatever you dislike or have questions about, feel free to ask me or give me a hint as to what I can do to change that. But in as a whole, changing old routines is a very important part of removing addictions from our daily routines. Let's go ahead and read it. And there we go. Changing old routines. Certain set times, familiar places, regular activities associated with drinking have been woven closely into the fabric of our lives, like fatigue, hunger, loneliness, anger, over relation. These old routines can prove to be traps and dangerous to our sobriety. When we first stopped drinking, many of us found it useful to look back at the habits surrounding our drinking and, whenever possible, to change a lot of small things connected to drinking. See, when I used to drink a lot, but when I used to drink, what I used to do is I used to go ahead and finish my day's work. And in the evening, I used to go to a particular spot, sit there with my friends and start. That was my starting point, 7 o'clock in the evening. And then after that, it will be till 8 o'clock, I'm with my friends. Then 9 o'clock, there's another set of friends. We start again. And then 9:30, all the friends, 9:30, 10, all the friends are gone. 10 o'clock, I start alone. That was my routine. Till the time one full bottle was not over. That was my routine. So I'd started out, and then I would build up. Throughout the day, I will build it up. Like, I'm not happy with my boss, very angry with my work routine, things are not working out. I'll build it up inside me so that I get a chance to sit and drink. That is building up the tempo of my mood to sit down and drink. And that is how it started for me. When we first stopped drinking, as I've read it, to illustrate, many of us used to begin the day in the morning with a drink, now head for coffee in the kitchen. Some of us shifted the order of things we did to prepare for the day, such as eating before bathing, dressing, vice versa, a change in brand of toothpaste, mouthwash. Be careful about alcohol content because I know a few people who used to drink their mouthwash also, trying to tell people that you're sober and yet have some alcohol in them. Give us a fresh, different taste to start out. We tried a little exercise for a few quiet moments, of contemplation and meditation before plunging into the day. Many of us also learn to try a new route when we first left the house in the morning, not passing familiar watering holes. Some have switched cars to train, from subway to bicycle, bus to walking. Others joined a different carpool, changing the whole morning just to start it in a different way. Not getting up, not getting up very early. I used to get up very late. I used to get up at 10 o'clock in the morning. When I stopped drinking, I could not manage to get up before 10 o'clock. Could not. And slowly, I worked towards it. Now I get up at 5, 5:30, do a little bit of meditation, do a little bit of chanting, then go back to sleep for 10 minutes, get up again, then brush my teeth, then go back to sleep again. Very carefully, I have coined my morning routine. I get up from the bed, I go to the drawing room, I lie down a little bit. I have very carefully coined my morning routine so that I do not fall back into my old habits. To a certain extent, this lockdown that is happening is very, very detrimental for me. My whole routine has gone haywire. I don't know. I feel very, very sad, awkward, belittled, angry, staying at home. But the situation today is such that I cannot go out of the house. So I built the routine around this particular problem that I have, and I work towards it. I build it around it. You need to do the same. Let's go ahead and read a little further from there and see what happens. Whether our drinking was in the commuter by car, neighborhood gin mill, kitchen, the country club, the garage, each one of us can spot pretty exactly his or her own favorite drinking locale. Whether we went to the occasional vendor or round the clock wine sippers, each of us for himself or herself, what days, hours, and occasions have most often been associated with our drinking. When you want not to drink, it helps to shake up all these routines. For me, the routine was there was no routine. There was no routine at all. I would drink in the morning, I would drink in the afternoon, I would drink before eating breakfast, I would drink before eating lunch, before eating dinner. If I don't drink, I can't eat. If I don't drink, I can't sleep. If I don't drink, I can't have anything to do at all. At one point in time, I couldn't even leave the bed without taking a sip of alcohol. After leaving it, I had to change the whole routine. So for this particular behavior, that was no routine. The whole house was filled with alcohol everywhere. In the computer, in the desktop, in the computer, in my wardrobe, in my cupboard. In my cupboard, in the bathroom, in the toilet, in the washing machine, everywhere there was a bottle of alcohol waiting for me. So when I left alcohol, what I did was I came and did spring cleaning on everything. Cleaned everything and threw away all the bottles. Anything and everything that could cause trouble in my life, I removed it. Because that particular routine had to be changed. Even if you don't have a routine, you have to put in a routine to make yourself more comfortable. Homemakers, for instance, say it helps in shift shopping times, places, arrangements, agenda of daily chores. Working people who used to sneak out of for a drink and coffee break now stay in and really have their coffee and bun in the office. And that's a good time that someone would. I know one person who used to come out of the office saying that, sir, I have to go to another branch office, and would come back home fully drunk and sleep at home and not go back to the office for the rest of the day. Couldn't manage to. Those of us who began a sobriety while confined to a hospital or jail tried to change our daily path so that we would not encounter institutions, bootleggers so often. For some of us, lunchtime was usually an hour or two of liquid refreshment. When we first stopped drinking, instead of going to a restaurant for a steakhouse, where the waiters and bartenders always knew what we wanted without being told, it makes good sense to head to a different direction for lunch, especially helpful to eat for other with other non-drinkers. Testing your willpower. It is a matter involving health. Seems pretty silly when it is not necessary. Instead, we try to make our new health habits as easy as possible. Oh, this is a big one. Okay. So, for many of us, it also meant forgoing the company of people who were hard drinking buddies, at least for a while. As far as I'm concerned, just drop them. Don't even have them near about you. If they were true friends, they naturally are glad to see you take care of your health, and they respect our right to do whatever we want to do, just as we respect the right to drink if they choose. But we have learned to be wary of anyone who persists in urging us to drink. Those who really love us seem to encourage our efforts to stay there. Many of us, have friends who are going to coax us to drink after we leave. One drink won't hurt. Why can't you just sit with me? Don't drink, but just sit with me. Those people are dangerous. Stay away from them. Don't even let them close to you, because those people are going to cause trouble. At 5 p.m., whenever the day's work is done, for me it was 7, as I said, some of us learn to stop looking at the watch, or shop at a sandwich shop for a bite, and we would take an unfamiliar route walking home, one that did not, take us past that watering hole or drinking place or whatever it is, and not near a friendly neighborhood tavern. Whenever we got home, instead of bringing out the ice cubes and glasses, we changed clothes, brewed a hot pot of tea and vegetable juice, or took a nap, relaxed for a while, shower, took a book, newspaper. We learned to vary our diet, include foods not closely associated with alcohol. If imbibing and watching TV was our usual after dinner routine, we found it helpful to shift it to another room or other activities. We used to wait for the family to get to bed before howling a bottle. We tried going to bed earlier for a change, and taking a walk or reading, writing, playing chess, etc., etc. Business trips, weekends, holidays, golf course, both. People often spent summer days drinking on the bay or the lake. When we first stopped drinking, we found it paid to plan a different kind of trip or a holiday for a while, trying to avoid taking drinking on a vessel loaded with beer drinkers. Suppose we were invited in a kind of cocktail party, which usually happens. As soon as you leave drinking, you'll be invited to many cocktail parties. I don't know why, but this happens with everybody. Uh, then what do? While drinking, we had been pretty skillful in dreaming up alibis, so we just applied that skill in devising a graceful way of saying no thank you. But usually, if you go to see, it is not. I have never seen it play well when I have tried to be graceful about it, that I don't want to go to a drinking party. Rather, I would be very abrupt and say that, look here, I've got some health issues and I just can't go. Because trying to make any other excuse that other man is not going to let me go. It's best just to say that I can't do it, sorry. In our early days of not drinking, we did get rid of booze around the homes. Like I said, I did that. And most successful non-drinkers agree that the sound precaution of the first, most successful non-drinkers agree that it is a sound precaution at the first to get rid of whatever hidden stashes there may be, if we can find them. But opinions vary in regard of bottles in the liquor cabinet and wine rack. For me, I believe that wherever your domicile is, wherever your house is, if you have any alcohol there, remove it and throw it away. Doesn't matter whether it's in your favorite hiding place or in the wine bag. Some of us insist that it was never the availability of beverage that led us to drinking, any more than immediate unavailability kept us from drinking when we really wanted it. So some ask, why pour a good scotch down the drain, even give it away? We live in a drinking society. They say cannot avoid presence of alcoholic beverage forever. Yes, we cannot. Alcohol is going to be the mm, best galvanizer, best uh, icebreaker, best everything, always. But now, for beginning stages, alcohol is a poison for us. We cannot be around it. Best is to remove it now. You can reacquire it later if you want to, after you've actually gotten a grip on your sobriety and you know that you can control yourself around it. Then you can probably have it. Not now. Have it in your house. Not have it in your house. And a multitude of others. Oh, I'm jumping a little. I'm sorry. Keep the supply on hand to serve when guests arrive. They suggest we learn to ignore it the rest of the time. For them, that worked. For us, it doesn't. We cannot ignore it. We cannot ignore it. It's too alluring. It's too lovely. It's too. A multitude of other among us point out that sometimes it is incredibly easy for us to take a drink on impulse, almost unconsciously, before we intend to. With no alcohol handy, we have to go out and buy it. At least have a chance to recognize what we are about to do and can choose not to drink instead. Non-drinkers of this persuasion say that they found it wiser to be safe than sorry. So they gave away the whole stock and kept none the profits. So take your pick. You know what your own drinking patterns are and have been, how you feel about sobriety today. Now, most of the little changes in the routine mentioned in this section may seem by themselves ridiculously trivial. However, we can assure you the sum total of such alterations in pattern has given many of us an astonishingly powerful propulsion towards new vigorous health. You can have such a boost too if you want it. If you want it, you can have it. It depends on you what. So these are this is the whole chapter that we've been reading around that talks about changing old routines. It's a very important part of our sobriety. We need to use it very, very carefully. But with each and every one, as the routine changes, the person changes, so does the changing of the routine has to be. I remember when I was, in a treatment center where there was a person who was working for one of the alcohol companies. So there was a person who was working in the same industry of alcohol industry, and he was there with me in the treatment center that I was there. So he asked a very valid question. I have been working in this particular company for the last 20 years. I don't know anything else. I know just working for this company, that's all. Now you'll ask me to drop my work over there because I was an addict, alcohol addict. I don't know how to work anywhere else. What do I do? How do I stop drinking without leaving this job? Now it is never about the job. That is what I wanted to bring out. It is my obsessive behavior with the surrounding that I have. If I can control my obsession, then the surrounding doesn't matter. It may take a month, a week, a month, or a year, But if I can control my obsession, then the surrounding does not matter. You can go into bars, you can go into pubs, you can go into discos, only if your obsession is in control. If you change your routine, if you have a safety net around you, then there's no problem where you are. Certain uh, examples were given to the guy. He was given some medication which he used, and he's still working for that company, and his sobriety is more than 12 years right now. So it is possible. If you want it, it is possible. Just ask for help and you will get it. Change your routines, leave your old routines behind, forge new routines so that you can do better than what you were while you were using it. Thank you so much.